Hello, this is Paul Chek. Welcome back to Tips on Breathing, Part 5, where today I show you how to do a simple but powerful exercise right out of my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. And yes, I do see your emails saying, Paul, you keep pumping that book, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you, boys and girls, I haven't even come close to sharing in all the videos I have on YouTube and everywhere else, all the information in this book. This is your guide to how to eat, move, and be healthy, and there's a lot of important information. For example, today I'm going to teach you how to do the 4-point tummy vacuum as part of your breathing training in this little series. But what I want to point out to you that's very, very important is that when you inhale, the abdominal wall, as I've been saying through the series, should relax. When you exhale, the transversus abdominus, the deep layer of the abdominal wall, will help contract, especially if you're under any level of exertion, such as you're running or exerting your body. Then you'll push the air out faster so you can speed your breathing up. But one of the key points here that you need to remember is that the transversus abdominus wraps itself around. The fibers are in the transverse plane. That's why it's called the transversus abdominus, and it acts just like a natural girdle. What's critical to understand is that your abdominal organs, the organs of digestion and elimination, all share neurological connection with those muscles. So if you have inflammation in your small intestine, if you have problems in your intestinal tract, your large intestine, such as diverticuli or a backed up colon or parasite infections irritating the colon, if you've got problems with your stomach, if you've got problems with your gallbladder, your pancreas, your spleen, any of those organs in there will cause changes in the natural tone of the muscle and alter your ability both to stabilize your spine and potentially to breathe optimally. Because if the muscle gets shut down, think, for example, gluten intolerance. I was writing about gluten intolerance and teaching people about food intolerance years before I even wrote this book, which is a long time ago. And only now is it starting to be accepted. People used to say, oh, Paul Chek's crazy. There's gluten intolerance is a bunch of bullshit. But this is all true and scientifically validated. And what I want to point out to you is if you have inflammation in your organs from food allergies or food intolerances or parasite infections, which I discuss in my DVD series titled Healing Fungal and Parasite Infections, the Absolute Essentials, because that's too comprehensive to go into in just that book, then what happens is that inflammation causes irritation in the nervous system, causes what's called nociception or pain sensitivity, which then triggers the muscles to relax, because whenever you have inflammation in any internal organ, the muscles around it in the abdominal wall have to relax to make room so that the organ can swell, which is part of the inflammatory process. If the muscles stay tight all the time, it'll strangle a swelling organ, just like if a woman keeps sucking her lower abdomen in when she's premenstrual and she's sloughing her uterus in the menstrual process, it'll starve it for circulation and can delay, prolong the menstrual period and also make her much more uncomfortable. So if you have inflammation in your guts and your abdominal wall is being reflexively inhibited, you will end up with what's called a distended abdominal wall. It'll look like you're full of gas or like a beer drinker with a beer belly. The technical name for that is viscera, which means organ, ptosis, which means drooping, so drooping organs. Now your abdominal organs attach to the front of your spine, especially through the lumbar and thoracic spine. So when your abdominal wall's not working properly, they hang from those organs and droop out. That tends to pull people's spine into too much lumbar curve classically, or if they already have a flattened back from sitting too much, it can pull the body downward and create a variety of unusual postures that are not ideal. But the point is, when your body's pulled into one of these postures because the abdominal wall's not working right, you cannot breathe properly. Your ribs can't move properly. Remember, your spine has to lengthen when you inhale. Your rib cage has to expand front to back, and it has to expand laterally, as I described the bucket handle mechanism previously, all that's controlled by muscles. All of those muscles are talking to organs, and the organs are higher on the survival totem pole if you look at my past blogs on the Chek totem pole. So they actually take precedence over the muscles. The body has to compensate. You'll keep breathing, but you'll do it poorly, and there will be a lot of knock-on negative side effects from that. So I'm sharing this with you because the exercise I'm about to show you is a good breathing practice exercise, but it's also a great conditioning exercise for the deepest level of the abdominal wall, called the transversus abdominis, which again is that natural girdle. So there's a lot of information. I show you how to use rotation dieting and how to identify which foods might be irritating you, and many things, abdominal wall testing, flexibility testing, stuff that you need to know, because if you don't know it, believe me, you're going to spend truckloads of money going to doctors and therapists treating the symptoms of things that you can handle with plain common sense and just paying attention to your body. So now the 4-point tummy vacuum, I'm going to demonstrate to you. And what I want to explain to you is a lot of people have a hard time activating their abdominal wall, because the longer it stays inhibited, the more you develop faulty motor programs and the brain actually forgets how to use it. It's just like if you limp long enough and you don't get rehabilitated properly from an ankle injury or an ankle sprain, for example, you can be running 10Ks 5 years later and you're still limping even though you have no pain, because the nervous system learned to limp under pain. So you can develop faulty motor patterns due to pain compensation, which then disrupt your breathing and your core stability for years and years on end until somebody identifies it. So using this exercise, it's a unique exercise because when you go into the 4-point position, the weight of your abdominal organs falls down. Gravity is pulling them down. And remember, the transversus abdominis wraps around this way. So when your organs are pulled by gravity, it stretches the muscle. Inside the muscle fibers is what's called a spindle cell. The spindle cell measures the length, and as it lengthens, it triggers a signal to the spinal cord, which excites the muscle, which is the same principle for those of you that know of stretch reflex. If you stretch a muscle far enough, it'll react by tightening. So we're actually going to use the gravitational loading of the abdominal wall to excite the abdominal wall so the brain knows where it's at. And we're going to use this as an exercise both for the abdominal wall and to improve our breathing. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to get in this 4-point position. So the gravity's pulling the organs down onto the abdominal wall. You're going to inhale diaphragmatically and just let your belly expand naturally. So let your belly swell up, ladies. Don't worry. Nobody's going to judge you on your lower abdominal flatness. That's all fashion magazine bullshit anyhow, you know. Okay, so inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to keep your lips a little pursed. That'll activate the abdominal muscles by creating a little pressure. And draw your belly button toward the spine. Do not flex the muscles like you're tightening your muscles as though someone was going to punch you. Just draw the belly button in naturally. And then just keep that air going out, kind of like I talked about a couple segments back where we take the garbage out. Same concept. And then inhale. And then exhale. Keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth through inhale and exhale. Now, I'd recommend regularly doing 10 reps, which is 10 breaths. And on the exhale, just wait till you feel hungry for breath and keep the muscles toned while your body's using up the oxygen you've taken in. And then when you're ready to breathe, inhale. And even when you got a full breath, just wait till you feel the need to exhale. And then okay? So you draw in. What we do not want is as you're doing the exhale, don't tighten your muscles so much that you get this kind of action. There should be no movement of the head, spine, or shoulders. And when you inhale, you should not see shoulders hiking up or muscles in the neck tightening. It's just what you can take in naturally and effortlessly like a deep breath. Just simple. Let the belly get full, and then drawing the belly button toward the spine, not flexing, and wait till you're hungry for air, and go again. I like to see people be able to do 10 breaths on that cycle. That would be one set. Build yourself up to 3 sets, and the more distended your abdomen is and the more challenged your breathing is, the more times a day you should do it, up to 3 times a day. More will not hurt you if you're doing it correctly. But for someone who's got viscerotosis or breathing problems or core control problems, 3 times a day. If you start getting any muscle soreness at all, then go to a day on, day off routine. Some people are so weak in the transverse abdominus that even that exercise, just with breathing, can give them muscle soreness like they've worked out, which they often feel in here along the oblique line. They can feel it all through the abdomen. Often they feel it here, and sometimes even down in the low back where the muscle attaches back to the transverse processes of the lumbar vertebra. Then just go to a day on, day off, or just make it more gentle. Don't pull in so hard. And that can help you tremendously. But remember, if you don't do the assessments in my book and figure out how your digestive system's working, where you've got problems such as inflammation, then the exercise is really only just treating symptoms. If you want to get to the root of the problem, then you have to see the body holistically, which is why I wrote my multimedia ebook, The Last 4 Doctors You'll Ever Need How to Get Healthy Now, to show you how to look at what are my values that support happiness, how much is the right amount of movement and the right kind of movement for me, Dr. Movement, how much rest do I need, and how should I be eating for my individual needs, which I go into in this book, Dr. Diet. So the goal here is take these simple techniques, but remember they must be coupled with diet and lifestyle factors holistically, or you're going to spend all the money you could be spending on nice vacations and things you really enjoy, seeing doctors and therapists for gimmicks and computer checks and hormone this and pill that, and I spend my whole life helping people that have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands doing that, sometimes to the point that they're broke, and they're often right upset sometimes when I figure it out for them in a few minutes, show them how to change their diet, the right exercise to do, and presto, 20 years of pain is gone. So for a very reasonable price, you've got a collection of the handouts that I made up for years to give my patients, and finally realized, why am I giving this only to sick, broken people when I should give this to the world as a gift in a book so they can protect themselves from unnecessary medical intervention and save themselves with preventative exercise, diet, and therapy, and breathing, and effective thinking. And that's learning how to eat, move, and be healthy. Thanks for joining me today. I may have another in the series yet. I haven't decided. It'll be a surprise. Otherwise, I will come up with something new and interesting for you next time. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Paul Chek. Check out our website, chekinstitute.com. Look into our Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 1 program and the many things we have available for you. Check out the store. There's audio recordings. If you've got my 4 Doctors ebook, there's audio recordings that go beyond what's written in the ebook called the 4 Doctor Audio Companions. In my Dr. Quiet Audio Companion, I show you 7 different ways for people with busy minds to enter into a meditative state. So there's lots there at the Chek Institute for you. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.